Okay, this is insane. I'm going to show you how we automated our whole coaching program, serving over 300 clients with a 98% retention rate and the average review of 4.5 stars on Trustpilot. So I'm not going to show you something that we've done automated where AI creates low quality content. This is the opposite. We can provide elite level coaching feedback and response times that I would put up against any 10 to 50K coaching program on the planet. So if you're a coach, agency, consultant, this is how you can use AI to serve customers, not just all the bright, shiny objects about creating ads and slides and landing pages. AI is great at that stuff if you do it the right way, but this is really cool and it's how you serve clients. So this is a dashboard that I created in Claude Code. You can do this with any AI tool of your choice as long as you're only using one tool, which I'll cover in a minute. This dashboard shows me for the last 30 days, we've had 189 client reports generated, which are real-time, super high-value coaching reports. They go through a process that's just a simple Kanban board. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but someone goes to our community group, they submit a question, and they submit an asset that needs scoring. It could be their messaging, their product, their content, their funnel. Whatever they're working on following our process, they want to get feedback, and they want to get it scored against our system. Then we have I'm not even going to elaborate on how the content is generated, but years and years of our coaching system across 50,000 customers, the complete history of direct response marketing, yada, yada, yada. We have this trained database of all that stuff inside our system. So essentially someone submits something, it goes through coaching, then we QA it. So we make sure it's up to par against our system. Then we generate a report. Then we QA the report to make sure that's cool. And then everything goes into my approval so I can review and approve this stuff. So just for example, let's look at someone really going. So this person, John here, is submitting a video script for their funnel. And I have all the notes and background information I need. And what I can do is open up their post for context, which I always do. And this person's saying, hey, here's my script. Here's the content of it. I followed your AI tool to build it. Now I want to get to scoring. So here is what is amazing. I get to look at an automated response from our head of coaching, which is an AI agent named Marcos. And I get to view the complete comprehensive report. And what we do is we break down every element of that client script, the hook, the promise, the problems, proof elements, the actual steps that they cover, context, showing their audience a bigger opportunity, having a clear call to action. We break down what's working, anything that they might want to address in terms of changes, what to do next, et cetera, et cetera. So a super detailed report that I simply read, I approve it, and it gets published in the group, and the client gets a killer user experience with automated feedback. So I'll show you what that would look like here. Let's see one recently. There's just tons of them in here. Okay, here's an example. Dr. Linda Barnes is saying, here's my message. I can go read this. And you can see the response is in here with a complete report that, again, is breaking down, in this case, her message. So here's what's important behind the scenes for you to understand. I think the most important part of all this. Number one, most people are using AI the wrong way. And you're probably one of them, and that's okay because that's how bright, shiny objects work when something new comes out. 6 months later, there's 1,000 experts on something that's been out for 6 months. Layer one chat, that's where most consumers live or are getting into. ChatGPT, asking questions, Claude chat. Layer two, creation. How to create a million clones of yourself and 7,500 ads that usually don't convert and automate some of your marketing stuff. Now, creation is critical if you do it right with the next slide I'm going to show you. I can bring up some examples, world-class slide decks that I create. This is a sales page for a low-ticket offer, just literally using prompts in Claude Code to create super crazy level of quality that you can create. Using AI, again, slides, landing pages, lead magnets, all that stuff. But the key is what you really need to understand is that, let me go back to my main slide, is that creation is important. And then agents, that's the third layer of AI. That's where most people are getting into now, talking about Hermes and OpenClaw and Claude Code. with the promise that you can have virtual employees automate everything. Well, you kind of can, and not really if you don't understand the most important part of AI, which like 0.01% of the people teach. And these are the actual engineers and developers and people that have been implementing AI in businesses for over a decade. Believe it or not, it has existed. And that's the document system. And here's how you can automate your coaching and your content and everything else once you understand this. There are 7 core documents that all of our clients generate that I use to create my content. And this has to live in one system, which I'll talk about in a minute. But simple, your company and brand information, what do you do? And your voice and style guide, how do you communicate? Give me real examples using audio snippets, etc. Lock that down as a voice and style guide. Competitive landscape, who else is trying to solve the problem or problems that you solve, and how are they doing it? Then we have our core offer engine and content engine. All this means is we have a specific way of having you architect your message that articulates the problem you solve and how you solve it and which timeline, and I should say who you solve it for. A unique product that nobody else has, a crystal clear product that's a point A to point B map that your customers can follow, in the right model. If you've tried advertising or social media or growing your business and you don't work against a specific model, which means what are you going to charge, what are the key numbers you need to hit, and what kind of funnel or process should you use? So when I did underwater explosive ordnance disposal in the Navy, we would say plan the dive and dive the plan. Most of you that are struggling with marketing stuff and AI are probably out there trying to wing it. Let me launch this book or this course or this funnel or this coaching offer or this VSL. You're not working against the plan. Finally, your script. There's one core script that we use that informs all of our marketing content. And actually what I'm going to do is bring up an example of that and make it smaller so you can see it here. So this is what it looks like. And essentially, think about it, this is the DNA of all your content. There are 6 core steps. It's carefully architected to install all the beliefs you need to install in the mind of your audience to take them from a stranger to a customer. So once you have that core script in place, that is what we call, in nerd speak, the document layer. Because once we have those core documents in one place, for me, that's Claude Code. Some people use ChatGPT, Manus, even Perplexity, whatever. You don't use all these different AI tools. That's the foolish advice that's just flooding YouTube and everywhere else. You have one tool that's trained with these core documents, and then you get to create all of your frameworks to create VSLs and webinars and nurture content and to serve your customers and all the assets, the bright, shiny stuff that you think is the key right now that everyone's peddling out there, creating ads and lead magnets and marketing content and editing videos. Cool. That's all great, but that's just the simple automated byproduct. So that's how we're able to automate our coaching. And that's how in our community, when people ask questions and they are putting stuff out to the market and they're launching funnels and, they're creating slides, and let me see if I have an example of a cool slide thing. Okay, so I just searched slide and slide deck in minutes. So yeah, using a simple prompt, you can just have totally customized content to your brand and create really killer slides, using Claude automatically, not have to look at PowerPoint and all this kind of crap. Again, this is Matthew's slide deck. The point is, with all this stuff, if you use AI the right way, you can coach clients, you can do all this cool stuff. Where was I? Back here. If you use AI the right way, it's one set of simple documents that can create all your content. So stop all the madness, the bright, shiny objects. If you want to learn more about how we can help you, there should be a link around here somewhere. Until then, stay nerdy.